Starting a nonprofit organization is one of the most rewarding things that you can do, both personally and professionally. I know because I've done it, and you can fulfill your mission in a great way on this earth when you align your values and your purpose, and then you allow that to be expressed and contributing to a cause you're passionate about. But before you dive in and start that nonprofit, I want to share with you 3 things that I think are important to consider so that you start on solid ground. I'm Teresa Clark, and I'm a CPA with over 25 years worth of experience helping nonprofits, 501c3 organizations. I've worked inside the organization as a CFO, and I've also worked outside the organizations as an external auditor. So my mission is to help nonprofits answer money questions so that they can achieve financial strength. I want to see nonprofits accomplish their mission and not be held back by money. So you can think of me as a strategic partner. You can learn more about me and see more about what I have to offer on my website, teresaclark.com. First thing you need to do when thinking about starting a nonprofit is to determine your mission and purpose. So get really clear on this. You want to ask questions like, what's the cause you want to address? Who are the people you're wanting to help? How do you plan to do it? What does it look like? So getting really clear, writing out those mission, the vision, the values of the organization, what you plan to do. The second thing is you really want to do your research. To be successful, a nonprofit needs to solve a problem or address a need that is not being addressed by anyone else in your targeted area. I'm going to say your community. That's why it's essential to do your research, okay? Because there's nothing worse than a nonprofit coming into existence to fulfill a need that's already well met. Now you're struggling to challenge to pull donors or to get funding sources, duplicating efforts, and it's just not it's not core to the whole meaning of being a nonprofit. So you want to find out, what are other organizations doing? Are there strengths and weaknesses, or are there gaps? So here's my example. In it's about 2013, I became personally aware of the evil of sex trafficking. I was completely appalled at what was going on. And very shortly thereafter, I connected with a group of women who had also gained this awareness and were motivated to do something great. Well, we all had ideas and we wanted to get started, and there was a million things we could do. And the best thing that happened is we connected with our local rape crisis center, who was also connected to law enforcement agencies and other nonprofits. And through a study that they conducted, they identified where the gap in services were. It was housing. So we said, pick us, we're ready to go. We want to help with that. And so we jumped in, we got going, and here we are, 8 years later at this point, and there's a home. There's a home that has been set up. It's servicing victims, and it's helping survivors in an incredible way. So had we been duplicating efforts, that need would have never been met. So that's your second thing, is to really do your research. And number 3 is to develop a strategic plan. Now, I speak from the financial realm of the world. So while I want to mention, you want to make sure you have an outline of what your goals and your objectives and how you plan to accomplish it. You want to have all of that. What programs are you going to offer? That's all part of your strategic plan. You want to present the case for that. But it really is my passion to say that strategic plan, it needs to include a budget. What does it cost to operate this nonprofit? It needs to have an income plan. How are you going to fund this work? Is it a grant source? How do you know that grant source is going to provide? And maybe that grant source needs you to operate for a certain number of years before they're willing to help. Or, also a fundraising plan. How are you going to raise money if it's not through grants? Or will you charge an income for a service? And what's the sustainability of that? So you want to do all the math and crunch all the numbers. Get someone beside you if that's not your skill set. And you want to have a clear blueprint for how you can achieve your mission. And then it will give you a roadmap to get there. It'll make the steps actionable. So now remember, starting a nonprofit, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's not going to happen overnight. It doesn't happen in a year. It takes time. So be patient, be focused, and definitely know that your mission makes it worth it. Well, if you found this helpful today, subscribe right here where you're watching this video. Or if you'd like these weekly tips delivered to your inbox, you can sign up for that at my website, teresaclark.com/blog.